Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Dead podcast. We're back in the building. Woo! It's me, it's Blank. It's the same show. It's always here. It's never late. It's never not on time. Blank, we're back.
It's exactly when it needs to arrive, you see. You know,
Like
it's never
wizards.
like wizards. Like wizards. Always like wizards. That's what we're like here. Throwing some fireballs at your way. Big dragons coming out of fireworks. Stuff like that. That's what we plan to do in future, actually. We plan to do a fireworks show after one of our events. It's in the works. Yeah. Correlated observation there for you.
That would be fun. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing a fireworks
You quite
show.
like that.
Yeah,
What
I
a
think it
drone
actually
show.
could be.
You seen that
I
1
have
million
seen
drone?
those.
Yeah, the 1 million drone show. It was insane. How did they do
Yeah.
that? There was a bit, didn't it, where it was like it was a TV screen. It wasn't even lights anymore. They cheated. Something happened. It was like a TV screen in the sky. I was like, so they have the technology to cool the thing. Maybe do you reckon it's because like they do it's not as impressive if they can just show like a TV screen in the sky. It's got to be like the lights. Do you know what I'm trying to get at here?
No, but not fully. I get where you're going with this. I see your point. I didn't expect the drones, the instant drones. But yeah, I've seen the drone shows. I know.
I'm like
I know
Curious
how they
George.
operate. I guess it was like what is drone? Why was George so curious?
I don't know, bro. I could probably find out.
That would actually be a really fun Deadlock character. Just Curious George.
Why have you taken that urn then? Urn's in his hands. He's just stolen it straight from you. He's like, that's mine now. We've got Ricochet there. What does that do? That's mine now.
Yeah,
He's had a look
he's
at
just
it.
really curious about
Maybe he gets
everything.
like the item for like 2 minutes. He has the item for 2 minutes, look it over, then it gets returned. He can't buy any items. He can only be curious of items.
But he can only borrow one
He can
item.
borrow items, yeah.
Me.
That'd be cool. And maybe like his ability is like he gets to borrow more items as the match goes on. So say you've got like a Yamato on
Okay.
your team, and your team buys Curse, he borrows it for 2 minutes. It's unborrowable afterwards. He borrows one item at a time. And his like base overall stats are like risen. What do you think?
Okay.
So,
Maybe.
I think we've workshopped kind of a cool character there.
I suppose. I mean, we've workshopped a gimmick. I don't know if it'd work in practice. You'd have to see how good
Yeah.
it is. You know,
I think it'd be pretty sick. Sounds kind of busted already.
could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Do you know what is busted right now?
What?
Do you know what's kind of busted right now again? Flying Warden's kind of cool. That's been my favourite new development from the old workshoppers of builds in the backgrounds, in the production
boffins.
rooms, the boffins.
Yeah, the dolphins.
Cooking some stuff up, hydration, bringing that one to the block. Very nice, well done. Played a couple of my games, actually won quite a few games off the back of it, but I think it has a lot of potential. I think you need to have like a team built around it a little bit. I found that whenever I played it, if the enemy team wanted to shut me down, it was over. All right, yeah. It's a good character to solo carry on, like mid game. But once they start building those curses, those bloody hexes, it's game over.
Oh,
Yeah.
those bloody hexes.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here.
What's your favourite recent development, build
recent
wise?
development, build wise?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I've been doing some weird stuff lately. I've been playing a lot of Haze again because I went back in and I felt like past couple of days.
We roll back. We do a lot of weird things recently. Plays the one character everyone plays.
Well, no, I mean more. I was experimenting a lot more. Where for ages I was just playing a bit more of everything. So I was never really playing any of the characters I have played an awful lot of.
Yeah.
So then I went back. It was almost it was abnormal compared to what had been normal. Where I was just throwing in like, maybe I'll do an Abrams, maybe I'll do a Mirage, like roll the dice, and see what you get.
That's the problem with ranked. I had that issue as well. I had an amazing game on Mirage. Absolutely dominated. It was a casual match, by the way. Absolutely first time playing Mirage. I was going crazy. People were like, "What? It's your first time Mirage?" I was like, "Yeah, man." Headshot booster. He's done. he's done for. And I was like, I'm going to take Mirage into ranked. Big mistake. Big mistake.
You got pummeled.
Yeah, I got rolled.
Did you actually? Oof.
Yeah, I was like a dough in the bakery shop. I got rolled so hard. It's really bad. And then I got baked. I got baked afterwards.
Take me out the oven. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. And I left
Put a
the game.
fork in me. I'm done. You left the game.
No, I didn't leave the game. I was like,
I was going to say. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not leaving games.
Just left the game.
Yeah, and then I played another one, and yeah, I realised I was not that amazing at Mirage. I'd gaslighted myself into thinking I was this crazy Mirage player.
Okay. You have one like life game and thought you'd made it, but you were not. Okay.
He's fun though. I want to learn him more. Take him back into the rank. I think I need to watch some of the big boys play him though. The big kids in the playground. I'm like a little
sandbox.
Yeah, I'm like a little kid right now. I'm like, that looks pretty fun. And I go over and they hit me on the head with one of the spades. The plastic spade,
big
the small ones.
Spades, yeah. Okay.
Not a bit, it's a smaller one. Yeah, still hurt because I'm a smaller kid in the playground.
It would still, it'd whack.
Yeah, it'd sting.
Yeah,
be a little sting to it.
Plastic straight to the cranium.
In this scenario, I'm thinking more like flat side. It's like, I think it's criminal. Okay. It's kind of criminal to use the sharp end. That's when using the plastic spade is like that. That's an act of war, you know.
Yeah,
sharp end.
You cause problems there.
Yeah, you've moved from comedy into equalizer territory.
Yeah, like you are attempting.
Yeah. You've Denzel Washingtoned me from Training Day with that side of the spade from Sandbox. It's weird, but yeah.
I had some weird moments earlier today. There was about a sort of maybe half an hour period where I was playing ranked, and I couldn't figure out what the correlation was at first. But I loaded into one game, and I'm pretty sure I was Wraith. I was like up against this Bebop in lane, giving him the old Texas two-step, hitting him in the face, and swooping in. Yeah, he's low. I've gone for a wide berth the whole way round, wrapped in the shop, slapped him with it.
Yeah.
The game just freezes. But it wasn't a normal freeze.
Oh, whoa.
Like, my internet's gone. I was like, it must be the internet. That's why tab it out. Everything's fine. Wasn't the net. Trying to reconnect, couldn't reconnect. Server died. I'm like, all right, weird. Queue again. Didn't count as a ranked game. So,
that's
weird.
good.
Queue again.
Yeah.
Does it again. Next time. But this time I realised it's whenever someone gets the first kill, the service was just dying.
First blood, I remember this.
Yeah, and I did this like five games in a row where I was like, maybe it will just be fine this time. I'll just keep going.
Right. Yeah, because it's the worst. First blood just crashes the game.
Yeah.
Must have been weird for you, though, because you were getting the first blood.
So I didn't know what was happening. I was just
is this my fault? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I sort of gaslit myself. I was like, I'm playing ranked today. Maybe I'm just crashing all the servers. It keeps happening to me. Like, have I crashed it?
Neo right now?
Is it me? What have I done? Why am I breaking the game? And then they did a little update, and it was fine. And it, in fact, wasn't anything to worry about.
It was all fixed.
And then I did win.
Mechanic.
I won my following ranked game. I went in as a Haze again.
Yeah.
Did a whole load of objective damage. No one really saw me until I was farmed. Just kind of running around farming. But eventually started playing the game, won the game.
I think Bongo sent a great meme earlier about Infernus. I didn't react. In fact, I'm going to react to it right now. You guys can't see it, but essentially what it equates to is it's just best jungler award, like a little badge on an Infernus. But he's got 22 deaths, but the most souls. He's done a great job.
Yeah.
Done a lot of work.
He's farmed.
There is like a lot of discussion going around about that recently. It's like, is jungling killing your games? But I feel like a lot of those videos could just be boiled down to what you do with your time. What you do with your time in game. Is it valuable? I think I say this on Cast a lot. It's contextual what you do in game, really, isn't it? Whether are you farming, are you in lane, are you helping? And I think that because I've been watching on, you know what I've been doing, Jacky? I've been catching up on a lot of the esports games because I am behind. And there is more. This is the cool thing. There's more and more esports popping up all over the place for Deadlock right now. So I've been catching up. I've been watching here and there. It's kind of cool how they've been playing it out. There's like a lot more. What I will say is a lot more team play going on at the moment. It's cool. I like it a lot.
That's good. It's good to see.
Yeah.
I'm curious, dude, because you think we're on that like accelerated schedule.
Yeah.
And especially now we've actually got ranked. I think you condense it a bit more where, we're already sort of seeing development in Deadlock with esports, sort of community events, everything was popping up. It's getting a bit faster now, more sort of orgs getting involved already. Especially with obviously everyone constantly asking us every time as well when we do podcasts and we sort of hypothesize about it with ranked. The fact we've now got it, because obviously that happened when we were away in London doing our event, doing the charity, the Cursed Air charity clash.
As you call it on there, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I think you did call it that, but you were so confident about it, kind of like slipped past everyone's radar. The worst part about this though is that I think I originated that phrase for you when we were practicing it, and I also confidently threw out like jumble of words which sounded right, and it sounds okay, but it's
see it straight through.
Cursed Apple Dead Air Clash.
Yeah, the
for
Dead
charity.
Air Cursed Apple Clash for charity, live from the Rebel Gaming Sphere, powered by Intel.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great event. I enjoyed it a lot. It was good fun. There was a lot of things that went on behind the scenes as well that you guys didn't get to see. We had to do like an impromptu discussion with Otter off air about his future in the tournament. But it essentially boiled down to Otter being a really chill guy, like a proper bro. And I'd need to message him again because he's such a nice guy. He was a good lad about it. He basically was like, yeah. It's kind of unfair. I was actually watching back the videos and talking to Kalaris, the winner of the tournament, alongside his mates from the StarCraft crew. It was StarCraft versus Dota 2 at the end, which was nice. But I was talking to him, and like he was talking about Ado, and he was a really chill guy. And went back and watched the VODs, and Ado was basically saying, "Yeah, I feel bad about this. Feel bad about it." When they were playing against Raya's team. Hawk and Tour. And he was like, yeah, don't feel good about this. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense that we play a show match. And he was a really good sport about it. So
nice.
I was really pleased about that. It was nice, especially with how good Ado is at the game as well. Because he in his games just, it felt like he was so tryhard because he was so damn good. But in reality, super chill guy. So shout out to you, Ado. Appreciate it, man.
There you go. No, there was tons of talent. If anything, Otter's team just had too much talent. That was the only point.
It shone too bright.
It did. I mean, when we do more in the future, there will be room for that. But this wasn't the vibe. But he understood the assignment immediately, had some good vibes of it, and honestly did kind of give us one of the highlight moments of the games for me. Day one especially, when Otter's team did the magic carpet strat, seeing Makelele and Devil Walk play as well. It was very fun. Like we actually did get a good variety of sort of old school names and really relevant Deadlock players as well. So fair play, Otter. Good job. He's got the links. It was
good. I was watching. Was Lambo and Mixu ran into one another in ranked. They were both in the Discord together, just chatting. Just playing against one another, which is kind of cool. It's nice to see like a lot. I think that it was cool the way the charity clash turned out, because we had Counter-Strike guys, we had Dota 2 guys. I had a lot of people say that it was really cool we basically had like different games going up against one another. And it was super cool seeing like not a Deadlock team, but literally the Dota 2 casters and creators and the StarCraft boys going against one another in that finals. Obviously StarCraft won because StarCraft's a objectively better game, obviously.
It's going to cause some diversion here. You're going to upset some people.
No, I think that it was a fun one, and I mean there's no better game because they're completely different games at the end of the day. But the StarCraft boys did win. I don't know how much that tells you about it, but yeah. They did have some insane players on site, though, which is fair enough. I've seen a Laser play and I've seen Lambo play, and they're both crazy. Then they've gone on to just keep playing Deadlock as well, which is really cool. I've really been enjoying saying that.
Yeah, I've seen. It's fun. I feel like we're like Deadlock peddlers. We have been since it was like, you know, back in the day as well, when it was kind of closed, and you'd be the dodgy dealer around a back corner being like, you heard of Deadlock?
Yeah, you got any Deadlock?
Yeah,
I think I remember.
You in the Discord?
What's kind of cool? Oh, come on in. Well, you know, like we were at that event together, right? And Jason was there, and we were like, I'm just sorting my focus out, guys. Yeah. You just deal with it. And we were at an event with Jason. We were like, Jason, you heard of this game called Deadlock? And he was like, yeah, give it a go. Did you send him an invite code? I think you did.
No, I think he already had access. He already had access at that point.
Yeah, probably. And he was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And then, lo and behold, Mr. Deadlock Fight Night back on the case. So, congrats, dude. It's going well.
Yeah. But that's sort of what's carried on, I feel like. We're just always there being like, Deadlock.
Deadlock's pretty good.
But
you should get on it.
Have a play.
Yeah. I think it's difficult right now, though, with Deadlock, because they're making some expansive changes. That's my own. Well, it's not really a gripe because it's necessary, right? It is necessary. But the game was changing in those early months, but it was changing in the sense that like it changed. It was alterations to what felt like the same game. I think it feels like a very different game now, personally.
Really? In what way?
Yeah. I feel like the way the game plays out is a little bit different. I mean, I think they're all good changes, and potentially, I'm realizing they're good changes because we have a larger player base, and we have, to be honest with you, stronger players as well. Because we had the guys at the top back in the day, but we didn't have many of them. But now we've got loads, and I think that the expansive changes, like changing the way that the lanes work, putting them further apart, 3 Guardians give you a flex slot now. Necessary changes, but they do make the game feel very different how it once was, because now it feels like more, which is how it should feel, I think. And I think a lot of MOBAs have done this, where if you're on one of the side lanes, you should feel like you're on an island almost, right? Where you're farming, you're getting strong, and you still have impact on the game at a macro level, but you're more that guy that gets to the end game and you pop off then. Which makes sense, because it did feel like early days it became a bit clustered, right? You know, everyone just melding together in one spot all the time. You got 5 guys in your lanes, and that's still possible, but not as possible without lasting consequences versus a good team, which I think is good. Anyway, it's a bit of an in-depth one right now already.
Okay, fair enough. I don't mind it. I've seen a lot of people actually that I think, weirdly enough, the only patches that obviously I haven't really covered in depth have been the ones that now people seem to have been quite divided by with a lot of the changes. Yeah, and it's funny because you look at it, and a lot of the stuff they've changed, you can see visually, especially how much of a leap it is. Like if you go from Deadlock Streets, or Street Test rather, to when we got Deadlock Streets with that update, like whatever it was in September, when they made a lot of the big map changes, obviously driven by the idea they wanted to stop the dual lane soaking, try and break that from being a possibility without having to alter the balance, really, because that's the first option, right? They tried, can we just do it through rebalancing stuff, and you can only have like 4 kill interactions per wave, but
it was so restrictive.
Yeah, so obviously they went for just change the map instead. Map is definitely really different. Like if you on a 1-to-1, if you look at both of them, dude, it's crazy how much of a big update that was for like pushing things back, entirely new sight lines, overhauling like the size of the map for the outside lanes as well. But I feel like playing it, it's not as bad. Like I don't think it is actually that bad where it suddenly feels like, it's become a MOBA. Like I'm bound to my lane. You know what I mean? Because I see some people with that where I think they're saying like, it's more MOBA-y now, which I don't really understand. I get what you're saying. Like I understand the idea of that, but I think that's also something that Deadlock's always fluctuated with, where its identity at heart is kind of like MOBA design, but obviously with everything else around it and its own little spin, and there's a little sombrero on top of it.
Yeah, like a little beach umbrella.
Yeah, it's keeping you guessing. It's keeping you guessing.
Yeah, I think, but that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And the discussion between whether it's a MOBA or is it a hero shooter, team hero shooter, what is it?
It's a game.
What are you to me, Deadlock? What are we? What are we? Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's gone through it's matured. It's changed, and I think it's all for the best. It's definitely all for the best. And I think that if it just continues down this path, it's only going to get better because they have to make right now. This is when they have to make the big sprawling changes. Whilst we're still technically in playtest, because we are getting closer and closer to that point where the game is basically released at this point. And I think that basically, where you need to make these big changes now, which is why you're getting these massive patches that are really throwing things into flux. Because once you release and you get that more stable player base, not to say we don't already have one, because you've got so many people playing this game all the time, especially with rank coming out. Yeah, I think that's when you want to have everything locked in. It starts being more of those minor changes thrown out here and there in terms of items, because obviously they've released heroes in the past. I think we had Shiv, but we haven't had Calico, we haven't had Holiday, all these new ones coming out, because I think they've been so focused on just making sure the game mode is right.
I think so. It's more, it looks like, weirdly, I think people are getting a lot of what they asked for. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the changes is just what everyone was like, I want this, this. And now you've got it, and now a lot of people are also like, don't know about this particularly, to a degree. Yeah. But a lot of it is good changes. Like, a lot of it's really nice. I think, again, it's kind of the same as it's always been. Like, Deadlock has changed so drastically, patch to patch, for such a long period of time, where now especially we've been in like the 2-week pack cycles for a couple months now. About 3-4 months or whatever it's been. So it's had more time for them to figure out how much stuff they can fit into the game. They're always dropping updates still, like, all the time. So it's just getting changed so much. I think ranked, obviously, everyone wanted the whole time. And I didn't think we'd go for ages. But they've gone ahead and done it. Fair play. Like, they've whipped that in.
It's like us when we're like, they're not going to release the game for, like, we're not going to make it public for 2 months, at least. It's public now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Change your plans.
That's all people wanted with that. People asked for anti-cheat. Valve gave you the frog. Like, it just seems like
still cheaters though.
There is because that's the nature of it. It's not as if it's going to catch everyone in one go. But if they're working on, if it's like anything like VACnet to do with CS, and you're using it in the same way, it'll be a bit more staggered. But obviously, any work on the anti-cheat will go a long way eventually. But you're never just going to wipe everyone out in one way.
Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? Really, how people are coming out with these cheats. Because I think the people I've spoken to play ranked have played at least 25% of their games have had cheaters in them, which is impressive. Which is impressive, to say the least.
I've seen no cheaters in ranked at the minute.
Yeah, well, that's good. I've not seen a cheater either.
Okay.
But people I've chatted to who have been playing, they've run into them.
I do wonder as well if there is any kind of like trust factor in Deadlock that isn't shown, that's used, because like in Counter-Strike, basically you have a trust factor where your Steam account has like a hidden MMR, basically, of like how many games do you own, how many friends do you have on Steam, is your account used, like it factors in all this stuff to basically go, you seem like a normal human, you don't seem like you're a cheater, so you can be rated highly, and then it will prioritize which people you're put up against, is the theory. I wonder if there's something like that with Deadlock, or also how bare bones that is.
Maybe. I have seen, so this is the one that confused me the most, is that I saw a player who had an active ban in Counter-Strike cheating in Deadlock. I think that's mad.
Or what, a VAC ban?
Yeah.
Well, so I think the way it works with VAC bans is it's usually like an engine ban where if you got banned on any Source 2 game, then you should be VAC banned from multiplayer on any Source 2 game, I believe. But
I don't know how it
might
works.
not be the case.
I don't know how it works.
Might not be the case. I can't remember if that is because it might just be title specific, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was an old like CS Source ban or something.
Maybe something weird like that. I think before we move on from cheaters, because they suck, we all hate cheaters here. My funniest one recently was running into a Vindicta in casuals who was adamant that they weren't cheating. They were so like the ones I respect the most to a degree. There's much respect as you can put on a smudge of mud. Is the ones that just say, haha, I am cheating, lol. Take that, you squire, you knave.
Yeah.
Those ones I'm like, fair enough. I mean, you'll get banned soon, but you know, at least you're not trying to pass it off like some of these guys do. It's like, nah, man, really good at the game. I'm sick with my shots, and it's always Vindictors. It's always Vindictors that do it. They've got like 8k souls at 20 minutes, but beaming me from half the map away, and they're like, no, you just don't understand. I've got crazy aim. I'm like, you don't. No one hits 90% of the headshots.
I'm just drilled, dude. Like,
yeah, exactly. Doesn't make any sense. I do think it's actually much easier to catch cheats in this game because I like the fact that every weapon has velocity on it. Although some weapons do feel like a little bit more hit scan. At the end of the day, every bullet has travel time, except Bebop. So it's a case of you run into him, you check the graph at the end, 85%, 90% headshots. You're like, well, probably not legit. It's pretty certain.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, I think, again, it's also one of those where, even with CS, I know Valve were always quite vocal that like they are working on ways of combating all this stuff with cheaters, and obviously they won't really disclose any of it because it's counterintuitive. Obviously, if they say like we intend to do this, they're just going to switch up whatever it is they're doing. They won't matter anyway. But yeah, it's a shame because I know obviously that is kind of the bane of online gaming. Really,
it is
people cheating, so it does suck. But
it's a tough one because VACNet's also like one of the least invasive anti-cheats, which is nice.
Yeah, but they've kind of owned it there because I don't know if you saw, but obviously with the changes to Windows and stuff like that, like kernel level anti-cheats aren't going to be a thing anymore. Basically,
are they not?
No.
So everyone's going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, basically, like maybe I don't know if that's because obviously VACNet's like the idea of like an AI anti-cheat that was trained off like data over Overwatch from CS:GO, but. Yeah, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw there was an article that was like kernel level anti-cheats.
Thing in the past.
And by Windows. Yeah, there's like a whole thing about it.
So like Vanguard's in the bin.
No, hang on. Maybe it was not the case. I'm having a read.
You lied to me.
People are saying Windows is not actually banning kernel level anti-cheats. I'm having a look. Hang on.
It's annoying because they work though. They do work, but also, do they work for me, or do they work for the company? That is always the question on my mind.
Yeah, apparently not. But I thought that was the case. I don't know. Citation needed. Someone find the info on that. But
sort us out.
But yeah, if we were living in that timeline, that was basically one of the directions where I was going to say, fair enough. I've never loved the idea of a kernel level anti-cheat too much. I get they are, they're better technically in that sense of catching some cheaters, but they're still not going to be eliminating the problem wholeheartedly. And I just think it just feels weird, doesn't it? Innately, the idea of like installing sort of a bloatware anti-cheat on your PC. It's like I don't want to. I just want to launch the game. Exactly.
I enjoy the fact that you can just like fire up Deadlock and you're good to go. And again, like I have run into a lot less. I remember it was like back where you'd run into a cheater at least every day, I don't really get that anymore. So it's good.
Yeah.
And again, I think placements is where you would run into the most cheaters anyway. That's where they get weeded out.
Ironically, putting ranked in will probably actually help you filter out a large portion of the cheaters just off the back of there would be that percentage where you could be like, well, these people are in this special division, you know?
Yeah, they've won every single one of their games. Something feels
Weird.
off here.
Yeah.
So that is good. And again, you probably won't have to deal for long because they'll be out of your elo up to a higher one, unless you're amazing at the game, in which case you might still run into them at the top of the brackets.
But you've got to be ready. It's training. That's all it is.
I'm pulling up Deadlock right now because I keep forgetting the name of the ranks.
Well, it's because they're weird.
Yeah, they are weird.
They're in lore,
it's like occultist,
basically.
Yeah, initiate.
Obscurus is the your starting rank, basically. When you're unranked, you're Obscurus.
Yeah, you're Obscurus. You're vague. You don't exist.
Yeah.
What is ranked? Initiate is your starting rank. Yeah. Then it's Seeker, Alchemist, Arcanist, Ritualist, Emissary, Archon, Oracle, Phantom, Ascendant, Eternus. Man, I'd love to be an Eternus, bro.
Eternus. Oof.
Dude.
That's like, you know...
It's pretty banger, isn't it?
You walk into, you know what I mean? You walk into the building. Yeah, I'm
beast.
What rank do you get on placement? Eternus. Top 10.
Eternus, bro, yeah.
Top 10 Eternus.
I also like Ascendant is not the max rank. Yeah. Yeah. Ascendant's not like you've ascended, but are you Eternus? I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so, bro. And
Eternus is like eternity, you know, it's forever.
Yeah. I wonder if they have like they'll have a Hall of Fame type of deal. Where, like, if you get Eternus, like you'd be forever remembered.
Maybe it does. At least like seasonal leaderboards, that could be cool. Yeah, but like takes your Steam name for whatever that season was, burns it in there. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, they're announcing all the pictures.
22nd.
What, 3 days time? Yeah,
22nd. Yeah, I had to get my placements done because if at the end of the week you haven't played 7 ranked matches, your visible rank will fade back to Obscurus. Obscurus will be back into obscurity if that's not the case. But yeah,
it's basically, for anyone that doesn't understand how it works, it's kind of like CS matchmaking system where your rank resets if you don't play, but rather than it being like random sort of, you know, maybe it's like 2 months or a month and a half, it's just actual rank resets every week. So it incentivizes you to actually play the game, thus cultivating what should be a more accurate rank system and removing the opportunity of people being hard stuck and climbing for years. Should actually be a way better rank system.
I think so. I hope so, at least. I think for me, you know, I got to get back into ranked because it's been a humbling moment as ranked, because I felt like I was not bad at the macro game. Not bad at the micro game. I went in, and to be fair, my elo is not that low. It's not horrendous right now. I think I'm in the top 96th, 97th percentile, which is good. But it's not quite 98, 99. And I would love to be towards that portion. I just don't think I'm that cool anymore, unfortunately. So it has been a sad thing because primarily I do play a lot of support. I enjoy playing the DPS characters. I like to make the other team go boom boom and just leave the match, but I can't. I can try. I do decently. Like I've carried some big games on like Hazes and Wardens, Yamato, but it was a humbling experience to have to return to Dynamo and Ivy. I was like, I'm just gonna have to be that guy that, you know, polishes everyone else's guns. I guess that's me. That's me now. And it worked because I played my Ivy game and absolutely dominated on it. I was like, damn, this is sad. But that's what I like though, right? Is that there are people who are going to absolutely just smash on really mechanically rewarding characters. But I can still get in there if I know what's going down, if I know what's going on. I can still have high impact on Ivy or Dynamo, which is nice. I like that. I'm not going to classify myself as an old man gamer yet, but yeah, I'm in that transitioning period, and Ivy and Dano have certainly been my like savior in these moments.
You've become washed. What happened to you?
Bro, don't say that.
Why are you just washed?
Don't say that. That's cruel.
This is rough, bro. Like, you've come on. You should have heard it. He was talking to me. He's like, how's your ranks games gone? And I'm like, yeah, pretty good. I think I've won 3, lost 1, something like that. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've won.
I'm there playing
lost
my
3.
hazes. I'm having my little games on haze, running around farming, going.
Yeah, bro. The players I'm going against are nuts, right? I got shoved under tower permanently by a pocket and a Moe and Krill, and I was complaining. I will admit, I complained in voice chat. I was like, these guys duoing. They like try to queue in together at the same time. That's how it felt. Like they were so unbelievably in sync.
I've literally had this, weirdly, exactly that with a pocket and a Moe and Krill.
Oh,
and
really?
I didn't, at the time, I was even like, these guys are fucking duo queue. Obviously not, it's just solo only.
It's not possible.
Yeah. But they loved it. They like were thriving off one another.
Yeah.
It was not.
I don't know. They just, it felt like they had that instant bond. Like they looked at each other's muscles and be like, you got some nice biceps, bro. And he'd be like, yes, you too. You at the gym on a Tuesday? And he's like, Monday, me too. What do you eat in the morning? I like a grilled cheese. Yeah, me too. And then they were in sync. They were entwined at that point. They were one mind in lane. It was painful.
I'm diving.
Dude,
I'm diving.
Seriously, that's what happened. The Moe Krill dived me. The pocket was immediately there on backup. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I almost didn't feel bad losing the lane. Almost didn't feel bad losing the lane because they were just that good. I was like, I've met my match.
I hit some nice sleep daggers today. I had some big ones. I got to play 2 games of ranked today where I had some downtime. So I've been very busy. Been like super busy with other stuff. So I kind of slotted them in. I played them today. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get another 2 under the belt. We'll see how they go. I've got haze both games. Some of those sleep daggers I was pulling off, mate, they were outrageous. I'm like cross-map tomahawking people. I was pulling off the most BM maneuvers when this bebop, I'm like 1v1 in this bebop in lane.
Yeah.
And he pulls me in. He's trying to get his bomb off and his uppercut. Instant sleep dagger to the face. I'm out of there. There's nothing going on. He keeps trying. I keep slipping through his net. He's throwing out long distance hooks. I'm barely dodging it. I was hitting like sick maneuvers, mate. You would have been blown away.
I might have been.
It was good. It was nice.
I wish they had duo queue, bro. Duo queue would be really fun. But then again, I feel like you duo queue into just some insane gamers. That's what I need. Confidence. I need that confidence back, man.
You technically have to do trio queue because if you did duos, you'd never fill the whole pool. One would have to be a solo fill.
You think so?
Well, how would you have the third duo? You know, because
they'd have to do like the 2 side lanes, wouldn't they? Yeah, it's not great. You'd have 3 duos though. It's just you'd fill the 6, man.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, you could.
Because I was wondering what you meant by that.
Oh no, yeah. In my mind, I was like, oh, it's not going to be enough
7.
Yeah,
7 lanes.
The 7 lanes you can't fill up. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. But...
No, I actually thought you were going real meta with you. Like, yeah, they're gonna have to be in 2 solo lanes. How are they gonna decide that?
That's fair.
Yeah. Do you think you'll have a case where in the future you'll be able to like opt in for solo lane? Maybe. What about support?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this gonna be like role queue and like raids in WoW? You know, and it would just be like, please queue as tank. We need less DPS in the queue.
Well, to be fair, that is kind of a problem, right? It actually does factor massive. I think that factors massively into Deadlock because you need less tank, but you need more frontline. You need frontline. You need someone to buy those rescue beams. You need someone to buy some of those utility items because some characters, like for instance, Infernus has a mega rigid build. I feel like people have figured out Infernus at this point, but there's not much space for Infernus to buy slow and hex, to buy decay, for instance. So you need that guy on the team. You know, he's buying the slow and hex. He's buying that. That's me.
It's
I'm
like
buying Health Nova.
what's that Pokemon? You have like the one HM slave that just has all the HM moves.
Yeah. What is my
You know?
purpose? Fly.
Yeah. Fly,
Rock
cut,
smash.
surf. Exactly.
Yeah, I think I saw like a good cartoon where it was like a Zigzagoon. This whole bit was just Smash, but it's just him like using the Zigzagoon to just break the rock to bits. It was pretty cruel.
Like a pickaxe, a Zigzagoon pickaxe.
Yeah, but literally, the HM slave. That's me. I am the HM slave.
Yeah.
I use
That's good
Fly.
though.
I think it's important. But that's the thing. I do think roles are important because if you get a game where it's Vindicta, Haze, Wraith, Talon, who else could we throw in there? Who else would you say would fit into that category? Vindicta,
Barry.
Haze, Talon,
Big Barry, yeah.
Big Barry,
Yeah, Big Barry.
Who's
Rat
that?
fella.
Rat fella. I
yeah.
see.
Pregnant Lash.
Pregnant Lash. Yeah, we could put Lash in there. So that's 5. Who's our 4th? Who's our 6th? Sorry. I'm trying to think.
You put Wraith in there.
I put Wraith in already.
Have you?
Thrown her in. Yeah, I've already thrown her in.
Well,
She's
put her in
ca-
again.
I put her in again. Anyway, you get the point. You get that combo
Yeah.
is just bad.
Yeah, fair enough.
It can win, but it's like that you actively putting yourself at a disadvantage immediately. I don't know. Roll queue could be cool.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like those people that are demanding rank to come out, and ranks come out, I'm like, I'm on my new hype now. Roll queue.
Yeah, well, that's what. No, but that genuinely, I think that's what will happen there because now you've given people this. It's like foxes. If you leave some beans outside of a night, they're going to keep coming back because they'll be like, "Well, there's beans here. I know I can get some." Like,
dude, this guy's just gifting me beans.
Yeah, he's just giving out beans. Like this Gabe fella with all the beans. This Yoshi guy just leaving out Heinz.
I mean, Yoshi is just dropping beans on a regular basis. He's just dropping beans
everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. People are going to go back for more beans.
I'm expecting beans.
They're going to expect something else now because it will be now you've got ranked. It will be like you say, it will be okay. Well, then can I get this queue or can I get this option or can I get this thing? And that's fine because feedback's obviously always good to try and spark imagination. But it is just crazy. It's like it's weird. Obviously, we were on the streets of London walking around. The event had just finished and we saw the pop up and it was like added ranked and you're there like
what? That's good. That's banging.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to play as much as I really wanted to, man.
I know.
Been slacking. But riddle me this though: roll queue or draft? I think I would to preempt this. I'd lean towards draft than roll queue. I don't like roll queue.
Are we sure draft in that sense will even be added if it isn't tested with a later iteration of ranked? Because surely if you were going to have a competitive format, that's where you would want there to be a draft. And in Dota, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like their ranked modes would have a draft built in.
They do.
And that's how that... Okay, yeah. So that's why I'm thinking, would this not have been the time for Valve to test that if they ever considered the idea at this point? Meaning, obviously, if we don't get it added in later, it's probably just not something they're thinking about right now.
Yeah, so this is my thoughts on this. There's Blank's thoughts. Straight, you have a little look into the noodle that makes up this marinara mess up in my head. But yeah, so I think it's a case of ranked now, because we look at what's been happening. We look back. Mm-hmm. We go back in time.
Read between the lines.
We read between the lines. Everything right leading up to this moment has been matchmaking.
Yes.
How do we improve matchmaking? What new things can we throw in? Obviously, there's the whole ChatGPT meme where we had the Elo system thrown up. That I think people were misled by that. It didn't come up with the whole thing. It just gave it. He knew what he was looking for, and he was just typing in roughly what he was thinking of, and it gave him the system.
He wanted an idea, basically.
Yeah, and then they implemented that system. They didn't take it directly from ChatGPT. So I think that the reason they brought ranked out is because they want to be able to actively test a more rigid system, a more tried system for matchmaking purposes. Because there was even that forum thread, which was almost a meme. It made me laugh, but I can see why they did it because they want real feedback, which is awesome. Fucking love the Valve team, dude. They're so cool. Because you got so many people in that thread, which was basically tell us how your ranked game went, or tell us how your matchmaking currently is. How does it feel?
Yeah.
People were like, yeah, smashed my first game. Almost beat this Bebop to death. Felt bad about it. Second game, similar to the first. Like, there's really not much you can garner from that. But they still had it in anyway, and I think they were reading a lot of the comments in there. And it did give valuable feedback, because I think that the general consensus they came to was either people are stomping their games or they're being stomped on. To come back to the original point, I think right now they're more interested in getting ranked out and seeing if this matchmaking system works. And then I reckon draft will get introduced later, because I think with draft, as opposed to roll queue is, it just fixes you into a meta, right? Which I don't like the sound of. And I think in draft,
be too rigid. It would be way too rigid.
In draft, people can do whatever funny business they'd like to do in lower relos. And as you get better, people make suggestions. It's like, well, if I want to win this game, we don't really have a lot of frontline here. I have a frontline character I can play. Maybe I can pull out an Abrams here. Maybe I can pull out a tanky Warden. Honestly, Wraith is getting to that point. She's so tanky, she sort of fulfills that role almost as initiator. So yeah, I think people will start to care more towards that upper reload, being like, I'll fill in the gaps. And so you can still have fun as you learn the game, and then transition to something more what the team needs at higher reload if you want to win your games, which I like the sound of. I like the sound of that. And I think it's perfect for this game, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, how you feel about this, but I think in other competitive games, it is like you have that idea of a tank. It's like, that is a tank character, or that is a healer character. Not people don't really want to play that. They play it because it's useful. But I think at Deadlock, you have characters who fulfill that role, but people still want to play them. People still want to play an Abrams. People still want to play a Dynamo and Ivy, because they're fun. They're very impactful.
Well, I think it's also because they're not entirely branded as just that, right? They're just all of them are characters that play slightly differently, with one similarity being the fact they all shoot projectiles or have some sort of gun, and then the abilities are just catered to different things. Because it's like you do have some heroes that have kind of support-ish abilities, but they're not. That's not all they are, right? Like Big Peppy Dynamo, he can still do whatever he wants. He can run in, shoot you in the face. He can slap you about.
Bruiser Dynamo's crazy.
That's what I mean. He doesn't have to be anywhere near a support. There's a lot of variance to it. And I think that's just because the builds are very in-depth. And I wouldn't like that if you then retroactively decided, actually, these 3 heroes are this type. These 3 heroes are this type. These 8 heroes are this. And then if you said, you can only have 3 of these. You know, you can only have 2 of these per game. Suddenly, I think that takes away a lot. For me, that would turn me off a bit. I wouldn't like the idea of it being so much more rigid, where it's almost like everyone is one type of utility. And I think the way it works right now is good. And then just having a draft that's built into the game rather than doing it externally would be cool. For quick play, I don't think it necessarily matters. If you want to go with the system you've got right now, roll with that. Obviously, for long-term draft, I think it makes sense. And then I think even the other one step further you could go with it with Deadlock that would be cool is, I think, if you even went a bit out there and had the opportunity to play team versus team ranch matchmaking.
I'm on the range.
Ranch matchmaking. Down on the ranch. You get 2 cowboys. Head to head. We got lashes on lashes. No, none of that. But having the opportunity to have like captain's draft, like ranked, team versus team ranked, basically for Deadlock, I think that would be really fun, because then you could actually incentivize, obviously, one team pick, one captain, doing it that way, and have that built into the game, whether you're playing amongst each other, and you can tangibly be like, oh, look, this team is doing well in-game even, you know what I mean? They're climbing the rank queue. It'd just be something fun if you're playing with 5 friends, I think. And then it wouldn't be that bad to have the option of like, oh, look, are you a solo player? Go play on your own. If you play with a team, you got ranked team matchmaking, stuff like that. And then maybe, like you say, expand on it. You could add duo queue or whatever.
Yeah, I think trio queue would probably be the way. Because you could designate one of your players as a solo lane. Yeah. And then no one will be left out. So I don't think duo queue is good, personally. I think duo queue would be so fun Trio would be so fun, so easy to sign up for. But I think it would kill the fact that like a lot of times you'd have to fill in with solo players, and you get that approach where you have two guys just mashing on two solos just because they're on comms.
That's
so I
fair.
think a trio queue would be much nicer, and then you just lane them against one another.
Could you imagine as well? I'm even thinking just really just switch it up where you could have basically smaller map styles that are just for effectively like a pub mode where it is just you just scrap or something like that. Scrap and farm, 2 lanes.
Scrap and farm.
Yeah, like four people. You know what I mean? I have options like that as well where you could just go off.
Yeah, bro, it'd be fun. That'd be really fun. I'd like that. I would like that. And I think that it's cool as well, bro, because I'll say this. Let it be known, I'll say this. The way Valve's done it is really, really sweet, because I think that with other games, at this point in time, a lot of them be calling for, can we get a replay system involved? That'd be a really lovely change. That'd be a really lovely change. We get a replay system where you could like slow down time, you get all the angles, you can do your VODs, you can do demos, and it's all built in. It's already there. It's already there, mate. The best thing with the way that the Valve team's doing it right now is that you can ask for these things. It's so cool. It's refreshing, right? You can ask for these crazy changes, which feels like you'd want to have them in the game anyway. Like these are things that I think a lot of games outside of playtest are still asking for. It's funny to me. It's just funny to me. So I think they're a little bit ahead of the curve right now, where they could make these sweeping changes before the game even releases or goes live. No longer a playtest, but actually Deadlock. So it's cool. It's really, really cool. The fact that we can even begin to make these suggestions is bonkers to me. It's bonkers.
Yeah, well, it's not Valve. It's very different from how Valve have been for forever. It's very interesting. It's cool. It sort of sparks a bit of a new generation for them, really, because their mantra for the longest time was always just sort of speak with actions rather than words. They never wanted to promise anything. Whereas now it's so completely the other way, where you're not even just talking to people. You're actively like developing a game in conjunction with feedback from the community and sort of swiveling to different ways. And I think you can see, obviously, we say it every time, basically, but you can see how much love is going into the game and the way that they're sort of just taking different advice on board, and everyone's trying to put their own spin on it and see what they can make. And weirdly, Deadlock is one of the most original things Valve have done in a while, you know? So you can see, obviously, it's kind of probably like having a lot of the shackles of former projects or things that you've been so drilled on. And you get a bit of a fresh perspective on it, and they're trying out new stuff. And it's just fun. Like, I think that's the fundamental core thing about Deadlock that hasn't changed. As much as the game's gone through a lot of sort of, mix and match and big patches or little tweaks that have overhauled the gameplay in certain ways. The thing about it when you first play it is that it's just very fun. It's one of those games that feels very nice to play. Like the gameplay feels meaty, the shooting feels nice, the movement's smooth. You get an understanding of like, farming's fun. I'm running this little route. I'm bouncing over stuff. I'm using launch pads. I'm upgrading my guy. Like there's a lot of just simple things that make you go, this is fun. I like this. Like I want to play more of this. Exactly. Yeah. And I still get that feeling now, where if you had the time, you would just sit there and just play like game after game of Deadlock, and you could just roll with it and have fun. And it's one of those where it's good with friends, it's good on your own, it's just an enjoyable game, and no matter what they've done to it now, it's still kept that. It's just getting more polished around the edges and kind of going in different directions in certain ways.
I also like the fact that the way that it's going right now, because it is getting more open to the esports crowd. We are seeing a lot of the OGs being challenged a lot more, which is cool to see, because again, let's see if I can pull this up. Let's have a look here. So Buff Enjoyers, kind of the epitome of the EU teams right now. So they went for Aurora Deadlock Masters, as we covered, which is very cool. They got first place in that very easily. It was kind of the start of things, and they demolished, right? They actually demolished. Yeah,
they rolled.
Second place in Deadlock Core Tournament, obviously that was that was the coin flip. So we don't know if we count that. Downtown Showdown, they got third. Kind of crazy. It's like they went back downhill a little bit, but they bounced back with 2 more first places. And I think it was Fissure Underworld where things got a little bit interesting for them, because they had that third, fourth place tier, which they came out on from the bracket. They lost to PGSK, who, funnily enough, is comprised of Sunset, Hardeki, Litz, Together, Taz, and Zania. Some of those names you might recognize from early in the day, Jacky. But these guys got rolled a lot. These guys got rolled a lot. But
they did. They used to.
I think that they had that change of mentality. They had to have that change of mentality early on, unlike Buff Enjoyers, who kind of were put on this pedestal. I think Mikhail S definitely got put on a pedestal. Almost feel bad for the guy, realistically, because he's a young man, and there's so much pressure on him. It's unbelievable.
He's becoming like the poster boy for Deadlock, for European Deadlock.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes in a game there is better players than him. And he has moved into still playing Paradox. He plays a bit of Support 7, which I really enjoyed watching. I feel almost bad for the guy because he's got so much pressure on his shoulders. And to be honest with you, as a 19-year-old, he's done really well.
I was going to say, like, people do forget, like, again, a lot of these guys are young. Like, a lot of the Buff Enjoyers are young. Like, Piggy, I remember when Damp spoke to Piggy, he wasn't really considering this even being a career only a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But you're really talented. You're a really nice guy as well. Like, you're very down to earth. And there 100% is a career in there for you because you're there first. You're damn good at the game. You're only going to keep getting better as long as he's grinding, right? But the same, like with Mikhail S, I watch a lot of his stuff because it's very enjoyable watching him play. It's a very fun sort of element to the way that he plays Deadlock. It makes you want to do the sort of things that he does. You know what I mean? He's fun to watch in that sense. But yeah, obviously, like you're not going to be the undisputed GOAT, like all day, 24/7, every game you're in. You're mortal. And of course, back then we had a very smaller lens in terms of who are these players and what rocks are they hiding under. Mm-hmm. The more publicity on the game, the more people are coming out and playing it, the more sort of new pros, endemic to the Deadlock scene, not people that are going, I'm quitting my esport, I'm doing Deadlock. Actual people that are just sort of popping up and 1,000 hour deep, you never heard of them before, but they're damn sick. That's the people that you're seeing sort of float up now as well. Yeah. So you're getting more of that mix of the scene of sort of, known pros from different games, people endemic to Deadlock, sort of people that are crossing over as well. I think it's just getting, it's growing, isn't it? It's becoming a proper scene versus a couple teams, which is what we had before, which is great because now obviously we actually do get narratives, we get opportunities to compare different people, you see where people excel, everyone gets better as well. That's the other thing, is I think people forget, one of the good reasons about Deadlock is if you get pummeled, you can learn from it and then go play again and be better. Yeah. And it's the exact same thing with the pro scene. A rising tide will lift up all the ships. Everyone will collectively get better the more they get beat.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest with you, for Fissure Underworld, massive tournament. Bet Boom was in there, $15,000. I mean, PGSK walked with 7.5K. It was nuts. But coming back to Buff Enjoyers, they walked straight into Deadlock Fight Night number 2. Obviously, PGSK wasn't playing, but they walk away with a very, very dominant 2-0 win to take the series. And they went home with $1,000 after that. And I think that that's a nice thing, because a lot of these players that we've had, at the top of our list for a while, your Listics, your Michaelis, your Piggy, Sharik as well, they've all gotten so much better because there is now finally that big competition for them, which is awesome. I'm actually really pleased for the Buff Enjoyers, because I think for the longest time they weren't challenged, and I think you need to be challenged on that team to really hit the highest heights. So I was really pleased with them. I am excited to see PGSK play again though sometime soon, because those guys are nuts. And honestly, when I watched Zander back in the day, his lash was one of the craziest lashes I've seen in a long time. And he was doing stuff that people have started normalizing today, like a month ago on Lash. Like his movement was unbelievably good. So yeah, honestly, big props to Zander, because he was one of the guys that I was watching for a while, and I think that he deserved more success. He's found it. He's found it. So well done. That's my little shout out to Zander.
There you go, blank shout out. But yeah. I mean, I think all in all, dude, it's just cool that we're getting that sort of development of the scene overall. And you're seeing a lot more. It was fun. That's why I think, it was so much that went into it behind the scenes in terms of planning with a charity event, but it's very fun that obviously the way that sort of panned out, we did bring together so many different scenes from very, very incredibly different backgrounds, just because they had one thing in common, which is that they enjoyed playing Deadlock. And it goes to show obviously how many different people that bridges. Like we had Hollow Stars, which obviously, like a very well-known group of VTubers. That's a crazy, crazy addition that came in. They wanted to be involved. They were very excited to work with us in the charity as well, which was dope. Shout out to those guys. Like, they helped a lot, obviously, with their community coming in, donating. We ended up raising well over, I think it was $5,000 at the end. It was like 5,000 something. Which was crazy. A lot of American dollars for special effects, by the way, if you missed it, guys. That's what we were doing recently. It was crazy with that, because obviously then we had basically a lot of the people saying one of the weird things that they enjoyed about it was how many kind of friends they made off the back of playing in it, where they were playing against other people. And I think that's the fun thing about Deadlock, is it again shows it is very easy to pick up and get people interested in. And we even sort of bridged the gap with that as well, where we had Philip come down in person. Obviously, Free Clicks Philip, known for his Counter-Strike stuff. Well, we've known Philip for a while, and he came down to hang out with us and basically just kind of vibe in London. We hadn't seen him. He wanted to see the event. And he had some good sort of feedback from that in terms of someone watching Deadlock for the very first time without seeing anything about the game before. I think it's one of those where it is easy to slip into. It just needs a little bit of refining maybe on the visual side in terms of spectating. But once we get there, the core sort of gameplay of Deadlock, you can see people get into it and do find it fun to watch, and they get sort of, connection to characters or connection to the game pretty quickly. So it just grab people even if they've never seen it before. I think it's just by and large the nature of how Deadlock plays, where it can be very volatile. It can be over quite quickly, and you're not really sure what's happened if you haven't played the game before, or very nuanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was interesting getting that sort of element of it, where you see people that just don't know what's happening because they haven't played, compared to obviously when you've played it for so long, you're just sort of like, oh yeah, well, this million things is because of this, and he's doing this.
Yeah, it's like you got your bricks to lay down. Realistically, that's how the way the game works. But it's a nice grind. It's a nice grind where those bricks do lay quite naturally on your foundations. Then you just build them up over time. I think that's something we've always praised the game for, which is even more important now for ranked play.
Yeah.
Because you absolutely do need to lay your bricks, and it's going to be even nice for players because they're able to see themselves climb through the ranks in real time. I think there was a tough thing for a lot of people playing in casual. There was tons of different websites coming out all the time. I mean, Tracklock, which other ones we had that threw out there? I can't remember.
It was a Neko score or something. I remember people posting about that.
Neko score got built into Tracklock, but essentially that same thing kind of went off your games that were observed through the Watch Now page, who you were playing against, kind of matching you with those skill levels, and then trying to figure out your Neko score from there. And honestly, people fiending for it. People were absolutely fiending for it, and Valve had to shut it down after a while. Yeah. It still came through, but people want to know where they're at. People want to know what is their skill level.
People love that.
Rank's going to help. Yeah.
Dude, that is it in modern gaming. That's huge. Like, people want rank. They want an elo. They want a number. I think even more so, weirdly, like that's something that I think Valve noticed with Counter-Strike 2, right? Is where even like with CSGO, people are like, we don't just want the ranks, we don't want DMG, we don't want Global Elite, just give us a number. Let us have a number, so we have a tangible number of what's my number versus yours. which I don't love as much. I don't love just the number for MMR, but it is what it is.
I think the way they're doing it right now in Deadlock's good. You get your rank, and there's 11 of them, so there's a lot to climb through, which is really cool. But you also get which is kind of quintessential these days for a lot of competitive esports. You're a Turnus 1, Turnus 2, Turnus 3, Turnus 4, etc., etc. For all the ranks. For me, it'll be Initiate 1, maybe. Potentially, who knows? We'll see. We'll see how well I do in the next rank games.
Let's see how. We'll do a comparison of where we get ranked at the end of the rankings. We'll do a head-to-head.
We'll do a head-to-head. But yeah, I think that's good because it gives you a rough idea where you're at, but slightly more than what Counter-Strike used to do, which was like when you get DMG. Towards those upper ranks here, DMG, I'm Eagle, I'm Global Elite. It gives you more of a rough idea that I'm in this rank at this category, which is what people want a little bit more of, and less to fight over. My number is bigger than your number. I don't like that, bro. I don't like that. Number, I like the idea of being like, damn, I'm ascendant.
Yeah, I want like a theme. I don't mind that. That's fun. I think that's it's a bit different. It feels better than just a number, because the numbers don't really mean as much. It doesn't have like the same sort of connection for me.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. They're very themed. They've definitely had a theming session of.
Yeah. I kind of want to be an alchemist. Alchemist sounds kind of cool.
Doesn't sound bad. Yeah, it doesn't sound bad.
But eventually, obviously, it was ascendant. Maybe a Turnus one day, potentially. I think I have to get to a Turnus, so I keep the street cred going. It's the only way.
That's where we need to be. 24-hour live stream, playing ranked for the 6 hours you can play ranked.
Dude, yeah. Well, tomorrow is kind of long. We got a long day tomorrow of ranked. What is it? It's 10 till 9. Dude.
What is it? Because that's the thing I'm thinking. Is it? So it gets extended, but it's a weekend.
Yeah, so 6 hours, 5, but plus 5 on that, you get 11 hours of rank. People are grinding tomorrow.
That's better, and then you are also having a more fair ground of. It's not as if people that can just farm games whilst everyone else is at work are going to bloat so much further ahead than other people during the week.
It's smart. It is smart.
Then you convince everyone to play during the weekend, so you maximise when people are playing. Yeah, fair. I can see that.
Yeah, because I think that for me personally, again, I think it's a really good change. We talked about it at the start, but yeah, it's a really good change just in the sense of with the old schedule, you couldn't take a break. You had to play your games out. And for me, and what I'd suggest to everyone at home as a long-time comp player, is a case of you got to take breaks. I think it's actually one of the most underrated things in competitive gaming. Is that if you have a string of bad games, the worst thing you can do is play more games. It's not going to go well. Some people have this crazy mentality where they can just like throw everything back into the water, remix the pool, and then go again. I can't. I muddy my waters. I do. I absolutely do. And I need to take some time away to have a good clean, have a good cleanse.
That's fine. I mean, I think it's one of those where some people definitely get a bit more tilted than others, or frustration gets to where you can slump a little bit. I'd even just say, just get into the habit of just rebooting the game, just even between games. You know what I mean? It always just feels a bit fresher with Deadlock. It kind of just feels a bit nicer.
I'm back in.
Yeah, give it a quick reboot, straight back in, ready for action. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's been fun. It's been fun playing Deadlock. It's always the problem with it is you always wish you had more time to play more Deadlock. But I suppose that is just the nature of gaming, really.
It is. It is. And eventually it'll be a thing of the past. Unless they keep this kind of schedule. Should be kind of cool.
Well, yeah, maybe. I suppose with rank, they're probably going to try and keep something like it, because then you have better queue times, better matchmaking as well, because you have everyone queuing at one time rather than late night and whenever.
It's an interesting one. It's kind of like it also would help me out. It would continue to help me out, Valve. Because I'm the type of guy who would queue until 4 a.m. Be good to stop me from doing that. Which I have seen, to be honest with you, on the old dead air Twitter. whenever we post stuff about the rank timings, there's always people in there, look, you're saving me from myself. Yes, they are. Saving me from myself as well.
Get a little bit more time to sleep. I mean, technically, that was like the counterintuitive parts of the back when you used to have to play within times that you had,
you
right?
were playing all over the place.
Because you just get it where you could. So we'd be playing Deadlock and then come back at our PCs at midnight and play till 6 a.m. and pretend you go to bed. But
but on like different servers. I think that to be honest with you, on ranked, I don't want to play on a different server.
No, you
I want to
wouldn't
make
want
sure
to.
I've got to make sure I got the best chance of the game. I don't want to play on hyping. For the love of the game, maybe I could go casual. It doesn't taste the same. It's not the same flavor as ranked anymore.
Really? You think so? It hasn't done that for me. It hasn't like tainted the idea of I don't want to play with you anymore. You know, like I'm still happy.
I still play my casual games because you got to jump on casual games to play with your mates. I can't be a solo queue Andy my whole life, but yeah, I think ranked does always scratches a certain itch for me. Certain itch that I've been wanting to be scratched for a while. Finally, Valve pulls out the old back scratcher. Back scratcher.
The bebop themed back scratcher.
I would go for that. Like it's basically just a mace,
long hook,
spiked mace. Yeah,
I'm thinking hook arm. I'm thinking the hook arm, just lengthy.
I'm thinking like the mace.
Yeah, the uppercut arm.
Yeah. We went two different directions there.
We did.
I guess yours is kind of good though because it's an extendo.
That's what I'm saying.
It extends out.
You get the maximum coverage.
Scratch my lower back at the same time.
Because that's what you'd want, right?
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, man. What time is it right now? 2 a.m. Bloody hell.
It's 3 a.m. here.
Yeah. Shall we say our goodbyes?
We can do.
We can wrap it up here for today. I think it's been a good episode, actually.
I think it's all right. Yeah, we've had our thoughts on the ranked update. You've heard what we've been up to. A little bit of paint about the charity clash, everything that went on. We're back, by the way. We are back. There's videos starting to come back. There's stuff going on. There's bits and bobs happening. Just a slow roll. It's all been very busy. We've all been busy with different things. Work, travel, running an event, managing an event, real life. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I've got negotiations going on in the background right now, and I've got some stuff I'm doing for... bloody hell, I almost said it then. I can't say it yet. But I've got some other stuff in the works right now. But other than that, working on some vids, some stuff to go up on the channel. Some stuff. I told Jacky I'm not allowed to say what I'm working on because I get the dopamine hit too early. It's bad. It's very bad. And I need to minimize that dopamine hit to make sure I follow through on stuff. So, yeah, if you've got ADHD, you'll understand. As I am a man with ADHD who does not take his meds. It's the worst. Very naughty of me. But sometimes you got to have those 2 a.m. brawls. It's the only way. It's the only way for me to stay on casual. Till late at night. Which I still enjoy a lot.
Well, there you go. There you go, everyone. That's it. Another episode of the Dead Air podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, regular listeners on the iTunes or the Spotify or the
wherever.
Yeah, wherever you are. I hope you enjoyed the show. Or if you didn't, I mean, I wouldn't know.
You're here.
But yeah,
you're at the end.
You've watched it all the way till now, not to
made
enjoy
it quite far.
It's a bit awkward, really. I thought if you were here, you would have.
Yeah.
You would have rated it at least like 5 stars.
Like a really invested heckler. I love you anyway. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. All right.
Give us some watch time.
See you next time.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.